Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about an article that Meta reviewed on. This article is called A Diagnosis of English Language Teaching in Primary Schools in Pasto. This study was published in How Journal by two professors. It was conducted by Professor Bastidas and Professor Ibarra in 2011. Both professors work as researchers in Universidad Distrital if you want to know more about them. So now I'm going to talk about the foundations of the study. This study was concerned with the English language teaching in primary schools. But why? So the foundation, it was due to the fact that national policies demand primary schools to teach English, because in the past, primary schools didn't have like a curricula for teaching English to learners, right? So it was like a demand, and then there were some other studies that have helped to understand like how the English language has been taught to learners. However, as in Pasto, there was not a study related about that. So the two professors were very interested in like helping the state of art in Colombia about English language teaching in primary schools, but narrowing the context to Pasto Nariño. So they had it was one main objective, that was to describe the ELT in primary schools, and there were 6 objectives. The first one, it was to identify the ELT in primary schools. The second one, it was to analyze I have it here, sorry. The basis of course design, also to analyze the need for teacher development, and the last one, it was to determine the most critical conditions for that either students or teachers face when teaching English in this sector. There is something very peculiar about this study, and it is that it doesn't have like a research question. However, it has objectives, and the objectives are well designed, are well formulated. So anyway, I'm gonna continue talking about that. This study for use several, well, it was like 3, it was 3 methods, 3 instruments to conduct the study. It was observations, checklist, and also interviews with students and teachers. Okay, so another thing to bear in mind for the checklist and for the observation, it was that the two professors used like a framework of analysis for methods in ELT. This analysis, I have it here, it was made by Richards in 1992, and it is called, let me read it, sorry. It was called The Study for Practices and Procedures in Teaching with the principles that underlie the methods. You can find them in the Lockman Dictionary for Teaching English and Applied Linguistics. So if you are interested in that, you can get to know that. Okay, so they use this framework of analysis, which is well known for teachers who observe like what type of method is used in the class based on observations, which means what they perceived about the teacher doing and what is the role of the learner there. So it was a very good option to use this framework of analysis. They did it, and it was like the results about the study were amazing because it helped us to understand that all the problems that most of the time are faced, like in Barranquilla, here in Neiva, uh, and even in Bogota, because of some studies that were mentioned there, uh, have the same characteristics in the results that they had. Most of, like, the primary schools didn't have curricula for teaching English to the learners. So this means that the teachers were the ones that all day or after classes were preparing the material, and preparing the materials always, and considering the material as the curricula for teaching. So there was no like a very well structured assessment for the teachers, for the learners, sorry. And be- uh, um, and also the study revealed that most of the teachers do not have a bachelor's degree in English language teaching. They have different, like, I don't know, like, yeah, there was one that it was uh, engineering, uh, biology, and even like two teachers that had a bachelor's degree in law. So the students were the elementary schools in Pasto were limited to have bachelor's degree either in applied linguistics, that is something related, or in English language teaching because of the interviews that they had. Also, they understood, or they observed that most of the teachers uh, use like a passive role for the learners. So learners are sat are sat down just listening to the teacher, and that's it all the time. They don't have like communicative tasks or activities that would promote their speaking or their writing, just listening. And that was a bit worrying. Also, uh, with the interviews that they had, there were several issues that were mentioned. For instance, many of the teachers didn't have even like a tape recorder or a TV, whiteboard. So most of the classrooms, the classroom settings were limited to teach English. They were limited to have a whiteboard with a marker, and that's it. That was the only resources that they had, and that was mentioned in the study, and that was something that promote like students not to be motivated in class. You see, so those were the results of the study. I know that the study was, I mean, interesting because it helped to understand the state of art uh, in Colombia based on Pasto Nariño. However, like, the results were limited, were very poor, because I expected to have like a wide spectrum about the results. However, like the researchers that mentioned percentages, and the study was used mixed methods. So, sorry, yeah, it used qualitative and quantitative methods. It was a case, yeah, it was a case study, but it was mixed. It was with mixed method. So it was a bit shocking to just having the percentages, but not like the full results as you would expect to have in order to understand the whole picture. Yeah, and that was all. The pedagogical implications were limited. They were like barely seen in the study. However, there were some recommendations at the end that it was like that the study could be considered as a guide for the government and for the local government to help the primary schools to teach English because of the results that were found, and that was all. And we know that this study can be helpful for teachers who teach English either in Pasto to enhance their teaching, or for anyone in Colombia to perceive the spectrum of teaching. It also helps like the Ministerio de Educación Nacional to determine the type of English the type of English that we are teaching, and the type of qualifications we want our students to achieve at the end. And also the government, because the government, as we saw in the in the article, teachers and students were facing poor condition settings. So this study can be helpful for the government to invest in those public schools. That also, I suggest you to read the critical review that I did, and that was all. Thank you very much. This was Brian. Bye bye.